Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much to the new subscribers and everybody that's been following along and supporting me. I really appreciate it. I thought it would be fun to talk today a little bit about buying my first home. Last week we talked about manifestations and vision boards and positive affirmations. And I thought it would be really fun to talk about my process for buying my first home. And by the grace of God, it was during this pandemic. Also, just being able to take a look back at like what that journey was. So last week I was getting the pop-ups in Snapchat about the things that I was doing this time last year, which would be picking out the floors and the cabinets and the tile and everything. So it was kind of cool to look back to see and just remember what it was like to go through that process. So I'll show a little bit of the model homes here from when I went and first toured them, which was actually in November 2019. This is the dirt lot we're reserving today, and it will be facing these units.
And as you can, welcome to our crib. And as you can,
Jaylen's over here trying to do MTV
right,
Cribs.
As you can,
this is what it will look like on the outside. And then our mailboxes will be here.
I was trying to do that, but you know what?
And here is the green grass that will be like near the barbecue. So it's the inside, but I think the way it would be is flipped, where the dining's on this side and the couch is actually over here. So
we do things differently.
it's a kitchen.
In our home, everything's included, even joy.
And then this is the living room. Has a little island here in the middle.
And then realize some things don't require any compromise.
And then the little bathroom
Because
down here. And we come up the steps. It's just like a little step thing. And then there's a little space right there. This would be the guest bedroom. This would be JJ's room. A little walk-in situation. This is the guest bathroom. A little tubby tub action. Cute little sink situation. And then there's this little space right here, and then a laundry room. Kind of cute and quaint. And then there's my room. My little walk-in closet situation. And a bathroom. You can kind of see the space of mine. And then my bathroom has a shower and separate tub, which is kind of cool. Back to home buying and being able to look back. I decided to wait instead of purchasing or putting my down payment originally for January to do it or to buy. I did it and I waited a couple months. So what I did was try to get my finances together, understanding what potential mortgage, including all the utilities, HOA fees, taxes, and everything like that would look like. And then of course in California, we have our sunshine tax where our rents are just super high anyway. And so for me, I was actually paying a lot more for my rent than I was my mortgage. So it was definitely helpful to be able to know that, if I can afford this much in rent, then that helped me project and kind of budget out what I wanted for my total mortgage and everything to be, including the rest of my expenses that I knew I was going to have. Um, and then, making sure I didn't have too many outstanding debts or anything, knowing that I wouldn't be able to make any credit card payments or not payments, not any purchases um, while being in this process, right? So from January, signing my loan docs initially, then you go through, that pre-approval phase before that. And that's when you're shopping the banks to see what lender you want to go to. So I had done that before because I thought I was going to purchase in the winter before the year was up, but I ended up waiting because I wanted a different lot. So I bought a new construction home. So with that, you typically can pick out the lot and some of the things on the model on the exterior that you want in the home. So for mine, it was wanting specific color palette that they had for the block of the townhomes that I would be buying. And so I decided to wait instead. And then I had already had my pre-approval letter. So once you get that is really when you can start shopping for real, because then okay, I have this pre-approval, this is what I can afford, and then these are the things that you're looking for. So, if you're not buying new construction, obviously having that pre-approval letter helps the owner take you more seriously. And then for new construction, it's good to have the pre-approval letter so that they know also that you're serious. But the difference is that sometimes the seller or builder will have their own mortgage company. So it's good to know that you've qualified for whatever based on the home prices, because with new construction, every time a new phase goes out, the prices go up. So it's really important to know that you are within whatever budget window for home price that you can afford. And for me, it was advantageous to use the builder's lender because with that, they had the special of covering the closing costs. And normally when you're buying a home from someone else that's not new construction, sometimes you can negotiate that into, the total sale. But with the new construction, a lot of that you can still negotiate, but a lot of that has less wiggle room. And so I also didn't have a realtor. For anyone who's considering it, if you are looking to buy a new construction home and you're going to have a realtor or you visit, they typically want you to have the realtor with you the first time you go and visit the properties, because they log it and they actually end up paying those fees for you, the buyer. So you actually don't have to come out of pocket, which is nice because you still have like their expertise on the back end for any questions and things like that that you might have, which I didn't have. But thankfully I didn't run into any major hiccups. And for the most part, buying new construction home is pretty straightforward. And I had been researching buying a home for quite some time. So I was familiar with the different processes, but a lot of the times they are open to you asking questions if you're unsure of anything. I definitely read in a few blogs where for different like condos and townhomes, you want to ask for a copy of the CCNRs, which is the rules for the community, including what is already going to be set forth for the HOA and that area, and just the residential property in general, because with that, they have different things like whether you can rent out the new home, if it's not going to be your main property, if it's an investment property for you, if you can sell from your home, if you have a home-based business, a lot of different things like that. So it's really good to look over everything prior to signing those documents. So before I sign the initial document for the loan to kick everything off, I asked for a copy of that. So I was able to read that prior to signing my life away for the condos. But or townhomes, whatever you want to call it. But so for me, then after that, it was, looking over all the documents about the area and the history of the land and different things like that. And I know a lot of people kind of just scroll through and sign whatever, but I really took my time looking through that. It was important to me to understand what kind of land this was before, like farming land, or what they have zoned out around this area for potential future building or construction. So where I bought is a town center, and they're going to be building a lot of shops. They have different medical offices that land is zoned for around here. And so it was really important for me to know what the land was used for or permitted for prior to them deciding to do these new developments here. And then so with that, I had the furniture and everything that I was like picking out, but I didn't buy anything until I closed equity or escrow. And so I didn't buy anything until I closed escrow, but then I started kind of budgeting to looking to see, okay, for things that I wasn't moving in or I was replacing, how much it would cost, and how I could slowly plan to furnish our new house. Other thing to keep in mind is depending on when you close escrow, you also will not be paying that first month of your mortgage. So depending on when the closing date falls will kind of benefit you in that way. So you have that extra month to kind of figure out whatever things you need to get situated. So if that's buying your furniture or your moving expenses or whatever it is. The cool thing about it towards the end was learning, especially now, how you could purchase points to lower your interest rate, which I had read a little bit about, but I wasn't really sure how it worked. I didn't end up doing that, but that's something to know moving forward in the future. If I want to save a little bit more, set aside more, I certainly could do that. And when you pay points to move down your interest rate. But because of the historic lows right now, I didn't really feel that it was necessary. And so I got really lucky with my interest rate. And that happened about, I want to say, a month and a half before closing. The other interesting thing is that they're constantly running your credit. So you want to make sure, again, that you're not making any major purchases, that you are paying everything on time, that you're not going to have any unforeseen surprises that come up on your credit that will kind of throw off the underwriting process for you. You don't want it to get delayed. And And if it does get delayed, those are the type of things that can stop the loan from being able to close. I thankfully didn't have any issues other than the pandemic, so I just was more of a anxious mess because I was like, I don't know what happens next. Are they still building? But everything went the way it was supposed to, and I actually closed a couple of weeks sooner than anticipated and was able to move in about a week sooner than we had planned. So that was pretty cool too. So in July, I'll have been living here for a year. It's not decorated yet. I'm still have been taking my time trying to figure out the theme I want for the decor and everything. I kind of have an idea, and it's similar to what you see here with my bed frame, like that color blue or sage and blush, and the natural brown. So now that I have an idea of the color palette that I want, I have gray carpet and gray and white tile. Then now I'll really start to kind of dig in and see what I want to do in each room. It was really important to me to get settled and to not rush into decorating. And it was important to me to make sure that not only that I knew I had an idea and I would be happy with the way everything turned out, but also just, you know, adjusting to the new life of HOA fees and taxes and everything like that. So my mortgage, as I mentioned, ended up being less than my rent. The other good thing for me is that also I had money back. So they set aside a certain amount of closing costs, and they give you an estimate at the beginning of your loan and at the end of the loan. And they update that a couple times as well, and send it over to you. And they're always communicating with you. If they're not, always reach out to them. I did reach out to them on my own, but I was always getting updates. So they were really good at updating me. I think the only time I was super stressed out was closing escrow time, because then it was just like I felt like everything had to be done that second. I had to drop everything within the 24 hours. I needed to wire the funds. I needed to verify that who I was speaking to was really from the bank, because I didn't want to send over all that money to be scammed, because I would obviously be super devastated. So I verified the contact info and the name with the seller's agent that I was working with. The other thing that I did as well was always stayed in communication with the loan officer. So if I ever had questions, he was always super helpful and available, even after hours like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And always answer your phone, always respond to emails. That way everything's pretty prompt and you won't have many issues. I'm trying to think, did I miss anything? But for the most part, they're communicating with you and updating with you. You don't really have too many questions or things that you'll miss out on when buying a new development home. So if you're buying new construction, at the end, you will be able to go and look. I mean, I came up here a few times on my own just to see the progress, because it was exciting and it helped get you more motivated for what you were doing, because it was about 6 months from when I decided that I was going to move forward and purchase before it was completely done. So they send you the updates, and then once they're ready for you, they have like within the month also they do of closing, they do the walkthrough. So I did the walkthrough, and similar to when you go through an apartment for the first time, you make sure everything's working. They go over everything with you. They cover the warranty stuff and mark anything that might need a little fixing or updating. Like if there's a nick or something in the paint, or cabinet installation's weird, stuff like that. And then you come back and they fix whatever it is, and then you sign off on that stuff and you get to take your welcome home picture, which is so cool because it's just like it's happening. So that's really exciting and fun. And then yeah, then they schedule you to close and sign everything with the notary, and it's a million papers long, but you're pretty much just signing your life away, and the notary explains everything to you in detail. If you have questions, they ask. So I did my closing paperwork in the afternoon, and then the next morning everything was done because they were able to take it over to the county when she got back to get everything recorded, and then I was able to get my keys that next afternoon, the following day. So that was really cool and exciting. And then yeah, we've been living here almost a year in July, which is so crazy, but it does feel like home and it's fun. It's my first purchase. I totally thought I would be owning a home before now, but I'm really glad that I waited because I was able to get the space that I wanted, the room that I wanted, the type of community that I wanted. And I know a lot of condos, like apartments, have been made into condos and have those conversions. And those are the type of things that I was looking at before, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I decided to go with the townhome style. That's really, really what I wanted. And so I'm glad I waited till I was in the position to be able to do that comfortably and still live life. And that's the thing, you know, you don't want to be house poor or house broke, whatever they call it. You want to make sure that you are in a position to still be able to enjoy it and do the things that you love doing with your friends and family. So that would definitely be my recommendation or feedback regarding buying a home. The other one would be definitely don't rush into it because you want to live here at least, I mean, they say like 3 to 5 years. And obviously I don't have a young family, but if I did have a young family, then most people do want to live there a little bit longer than that. Unless you're just trying to get in to get that investment, and that's fine too. So just really understanding what your own personal situation is and then making the decisions based on that. And making sure you have enough saved, understanding your financial options. So for me, I was able to use some money from my retirement, a part of my down payment, look into the first time homebuyer programs. There's so many things out there. And I feel like it's unfortunate because a lot of people don't really understand all the resources that are available to them. Working in education, or if you're a first responder, there's a lot of different resources available to you as well. If you're in the military, there's veterans loans. There's just so many things. So really taking the time to research all of that information and, you know, understanding that you will be compromising on some things. I know a lot of us have all these must-haves that we, you know, want to do. And mine was always to be in a community that was 10 years or younger. So I'm really grateful that I was able to get into this new development. And I'm not too far from my family. But yeah, so that's my home buying journey. That was the process for buying new construction. And if you guys are out there and you have any questions, feel free to, you know, comment or whatever regarding your process or journey. And, you know, I can share anything that I did. You know, obviously this is not financial advice, just my opinion, my experience on the home buying process for new construction. But like I said, there's so many things out there. I Googled so much while I was in the process and even before, just preparing, because I really like to have the big picture, and that's for everything. in life. So it was good because then, you know, I had an idea when they would talk about different things. I could look it up and um, just really see what, you know, what I was signing up for and getting myself into. So there's so much out there. And I hope if this is one of your goals on your vision board that you are close to crossing that thing off. And, you know, eventually I'll be putting, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but last week I had a new one up there. I did. Because I am in a good situation here. My property values already gone up quite a significant amount. And so, you know, while it is what it is, I want to be able to take advantage of that. So that's something that I have been thinking about. Um, but also I want it to be the right decision and the right timing. So it probably won't be for a while, but it is on my vision board because I have something to aspire to. And so it's always fun to have those different goals that we can look forward to accomplishing and figuring out what strategy to do next. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any feedback or what your favorite thing about your home buying process was in the comments. And I look forward to talking with you guys next week. And I hope you have an amazing March. We are finally into a new month, and hopefully things were starting to look up with the coronavirus, and we can, you know, slowly open back up. But I hope you all stay safe and blessed and healthy and happy. Love you guys. Bye.